We are discussing here about the JSA for cutting, grinding, welding, brazing and spool cleaning and abrasive blasting. Guys, this video made for an educational purpose. There is no intention for advertisement of any company and there is no copy. The format which you can see on the screen, this has been developed by me. So you can use your own company format, or you can prepare your own format, or you can use the same format. It's up to you. Okay. So this is just an example. Here you can see JSA number you can write here. XX means you have to write your company name, and JSA number you can develop your own JSA. If there is a revision, you can write revision 1, revision 2, like up to the revision. Okay, so you can see here job task JSA for cutting, grinding, welding, brazing, spool cleaning and abrasive blasting. You can prepare separate JSAs also, or you can prepare one JSA in this all, depend on your company requirement. This JSA I have made for the Aramco project, mostly in the brown field, but you can use it in the green field also. Some minimum changes will be required, which I will explain you. And then you can use this JSA also for other project, other companies also, but you have to use your own construction safety requirement. Okay, so you can see here this is the prepared. So mostly JSA prepared by several people. By involving several people like field engineers, safety supervisors, site supervisors, safety manager, construction manager. So the all personnel who are involved in the preparation of these JSS, their name should be mentioned here. Okay, and they should sign. Then this is for review and approval. Okay, so as you can see here, the safety equipment requirement and references. Mostly 95% things is covered here already. So minimum changes you can do it as per your CSM requirement. Okay, let's go to the table. So here, as you can see here, mostly this format has been followed everywhere. So this is the job steps and then sequences of the job step, potential hazards and hazard control, or safe work processes and responsibilities. Okay, so joint site inspection is very important. Okay, so here you can see conduct a joint site inspection, obtain work permit, permit application, mobilization. Okay, so these three things here. Personal injury could be happen. Suppose people are unaware, unfamiliar of the site, and they go for the joint site inspection and they touch something with electrical current, so they can have electrocution, or they can trip, or something could fall to them. So prior to mobilizing people on site, they must should be familiar properly about the site. Okay, so you can see here the permit issuers and receivers shall conduct a joint site inspection and discuss the hazard and precaution required for conducting a job. Make sure all employees have attended proper safety inductions from the Aramco or the consultant, if there is non-Aramco, and then your company internal safety induction, fully familiar with the site safety requirement and enforce requirement to wear hard hat, safety shoes, safety glasses. FRC I have mentioned here, which is required for the brown field. If you are working in the green field, so it's not required, you can remove this. Okay, a toolbox meeting shall be conducted, informing the location of assembly area for emergency, and contact number should be posted on the site. All work permit requirements shall be followed under GI 2.1. This is only for the Aramco. Okay, this GI general instruction. So if your project is not with the Aramco, then you have to remove this one, and you have to add here your company, your standard, your project standard requirement here. Okay. Okay, so JSA and work permit shall be communicated to all personnel during daily activity prior to start activity. Unfamiliarity of the site, road access. So prior to using, all vehicles shall be duly inspected from your company and of course from the client. Okay, driver, operators, visitors must be familiar about the road directions and restricted area for the parking. Okay, so loading, unloading, mostly almost project there is a loading or unloading work is there. So this thing must be mentioned in the JSA. Okay, material fall, personal injury, strain or more serious injuries such as back pain, back injury. There could be a heat stress too. Okay, so person must be trained about ergonomics hazard. Then they should know how to do the manual lifting work. If possible, use mechanical equipment. Try to use forklift or mechanical equipment, and try to avoid manual lifting work on site, which could cause harm to the personnel. Okay, frequent job rotation shall be implemented to minimize fatigue to the personnel. Test the load force by exposing the item to estimate its weight and to determine if it can be moved manually. Use body systems. Okay, keep all body parts away from the heating area. Okay, now here you can see use of hand tools, power tools, air compressor, machine pneumatic impact. Okay, so there is a hazards, vibration, fire, burn, electrocution, hand injury, foot injury, slip, trip and fall, personal injuries. Okay, so activity must be covered as per GIS 2.100. Equipment must be properly grounded. Power sources must be equipped with the GFCI and ELCB. Circuit breaker does not protect personals. Okay, circuit breaker only protect equipment, but GFCI and ELCB it would protect the personals also from electrocution or any unevent things. Okay. Trained fire watch with reflective vest must be available on one place. Inspected and color code power tools, including all electrical extension cable generators, shall be used only. Only electricians are responsible to inspect the electrical tools and cable. Okay. Only experienced and trained persons is required for the task. Use necessary PPEs like grinding. If you are going to use grinding, then you should use an additional PPE is called face shield on safety glass. Confined space entry work permit will be required if you are working in the confined space. Fire extinguisher must be available on the work location, and of course fire extinguisher should be available with the fire watch too, and only UL rated fire extinguishers are accepted in Saudi Aramco project. Erection bags and tools bags shall be provided for securing tools, small bolts and nuts and other material. Persons are not positioned in the line of fire. Line of fire means the person standing very near at the edge or standing in between two moving loads which could crush them. So that area is called line of fire. So persons should be avoided to positioning themselves in such location. Okay. All persons must wear a full body harness and follow 100% tie-off technique. Cutting and grinding work using grinder. So you can see here prior to start the activity, ensure the secure work permit, TBT and all the hazards must be informed to the workers and they should know how to control them. Okay, so angular grinder, circular saw including all power tools shall have protection guard. Protection guard should not be removed. Only trained persons may be permitted to use the grinding and cutting work. Sometimes untrained person that say to the foreman that I know this work and they actually they don't know and they start working and then due to unawareness they get injured. Okay, so these things should be ensured that the person who is going to use these power tools must ensure that he knows how to use it and he is experienced. If no, then he should have the proper training. Okay, conduct visual inspection of the tools before using. Okay, use the right tool for the right job. Ensure cutting and grinding tools have been inspected by designated competent persons. Appropriate PPEs and all the mandatory requirements should be followed. Okay. Good housekeeping should be maintained. Sometimes there is a flammable material, poor housekeeping in the grinding area, and due to the sparks and slacks, there fire occurs. Okay, so prior to start grinding works, all combustible material should be removed from the area. Fire watch must be available on the area. Area must be barricaded with fire blankets. Okay, there must be a proper mechanical ventilation if you are working in the confined space. Okay, now welding works are gas, welding, brazing, all the hazards here, fire hazard, electrocution, arcing, serious personal injury, explosion, and so many things could happen, so many hazards there. So the control measures are mentioned here. Okay, so gas test shall be conducted prior to start welding work. Inspected and color coded welding equipment and cable. Welding machine must be grounded and all cable must be free of wear and tears. All welders and brazers shall be Saudi Aramco certified or your client standard. Okay, certification is required. If that is not Saudi Aramco, then you have to remove this one. Okay, so within hydrocarbon facilities, all sewers should be covered within 24 meters. This is due to prevention from the explosion. Sometimes like gases like hydrogen sulfide, which is heavier and can deposit in the sewer lines, and that gases are explosive. So if you are not covering that and there is a flammable and explosive gases accumulated there, and whenever you start the hot work, that could cause explosion. So that must be covered. Okay, and gas test must be done to ensure that there is no any explosive gases or LEL is there. Cutting, welding and brazing shall not be allowed to the oxygen-rich environment. Ensure proper cable management to prevent risk of electrical shocks and hazards. Okay, only qualified personnel can do the job. A welding helmet shall be worn during welding operation to protect the welder eyes and face against the instant radiation, right? Use all necessary PPEs, no combustible material near the workplace, no combustible material under the workplace whenever working at height. Trained fire watch must be available on the place, fire extinguisher must be in the place. Provide bucket or cane for welding rod butts, okay. For gas welding, it must be ensured that the gas testing must be done in the area. Guys, almost 95, more than 95% control measures I have already mentioned here. And also I try to mention many things which we face during activities on site. So you guys no need to copy 100% this all the wording. You can change your own wording. Just you can get ideas. Just you can get the trainings, and then you can use your own language. Okay. However, this type of JSS was already approved from the many proponents and clients whenever we were in the field. So we have made by collecting all the things. Okay. Oxyacetylene cylinders hose must be free from any damage, cuts and wear and tears. Oxyacetylene cylinder must be in good condition, always be stored in vertical position, like, okay. So flush back arresters must be available. Cylinder, trolley material, basket cylinder, racks and other proper types of equipment shall be used or for transporting the cylinders. Okay. So as you can see here, oxygen cylinders shall be stored at least 6.1 meter from the flammable gas cylinder, or they shall be separated by half-hour fire rated barrier, which could be 5 feet height. Fuel gas hose and oxygen hose shall have different colors for identifications. Okay, hose connection shall be made by compression clips. Sometimes people, contractors, subcontractors, they use Jubilee clamps, which is not allowed on Saudi Aramco project. So that clamp must be by compression clip. Okay, I will prepare one video showing this all the thing, dead man switch, compression clip and all the standards requirement for the Aramco projects in the next video. Okay, gas cylinder must not keep near the combustible material, live line or direct sunlight. Ignition torch should be used. Gas cylinder shall be turned off. Hose bleed off at the end of each shift or task. Okay, the color I have changed. This is just for changing, just during the changing of the table. So you can make it your own color, and you can reduce the size of the say this text. Okay, so here you can see pipe cleaning. So sometimes people they need to go inside the pipe for cleaning, like if the pipe is more than 56 inch. So sometimes I think this is the QC requirement for cleaning. So sometimes these people enter in there, which is very dangerous. So you must ensure that people who will go for in the pipe for cleaning or whatever purpose, he should follow the safe work procedure. Okay. So you can see here, ensure adequate training, monitor noise level, use proper PPE, eye face hearing protection and gloves. Sometimes people they don't go inside the pipe also. So in that case they do this pneumatic cleaning. So that one I have mentioned here also. Okay, air compressor machine must be in good condition, inspected and grounded. Ensure no persons available near blasting. Then they do blasting. Sound comes there by wrapping the plastic and tearing the plastic. So you have all the things I have mentioned here. Okay, tools shall be tied by the tool lanyard. Ensure all persons follow 100% tie-off technique. Okay, so good access should be maintained, good illumination, good ventilation should be there. Personnel must wear full body harness and follow 100% tie-off technique. Standby man shall be provided with adequate means of communications, radios like this. Standby man shall have assigned by CSE at the each designated entry points. Each designated confined space entry point shall be evaluated to ensure entrant can safely enter and exit in the confined space. Okay, prior to entry, chemical and physical hazard shall be eliminated or controlled by one or more by following methods. Okay, by washing, by steaming or cleaning, purging. Okay, so here you can see abrasive blastings also I mentioned here. This is the Aramco standards I mentioned here. Okay, so mostly everywhere in the world these standards is followed. So you can see here all operators and abrasive blasting equipment shall be tested and certified by the certified coating inspector. Okay, hose and nozzle fitting shall be secured, fixed to prevent unplanned disintegration during abrasive blasting operation. All twist lock fitting shall have safety pin or wire installed and shall have whip check, whip arrestor. Okay, you can see a dead man switch should be there. Abrasive blasting activity shall be performed in accordance with GI 6.021. Abrasive blasting operator shall wear needed personal protective equipment including leather or neoprene gloves, leather or neoprene hearing protection, safety glass, safety shoes, and coveralls. Ensure continuously supply of breathing air up to the hood. All abrasive blasting nozzles and cover shall never be pointed at a person or part of the personal body. Sometimes people, due to sweating, they tell their co-workers to position the aim the nozzle to their body, and they try to clean or they try to dry their sweat, which is not acceptable. It is unsafe act. Airborne particles hazard here. Breathing air compressor shall be properly placed to prevent contamination from the entering the compressor intake. Okay, air compressor used for breathing air supply shall be tested quarterly at GI 1780 into 001 by the Aramco approved independent third-party testing facility to ensure the air quality meets Compressor Gas Association grade D air quality requirement. It means if you are using an air compression, mostly lubricated air compressor used on site. So if you are going to use that air compressor for air breathing in the air breathing hood during abrasive blasting, so before using that air should be tested by third party. Means the whenever you call the third party, they will come and they will collect the air from the air compressor in their sample box. They will bring it to the laboratory and they will check it, and then they will give you the report. So upon seeing that report, if this air is accepted for the breathing, then only you can use that air compressor, or otherwise it will not be acceptable. So the normal ranges and the acceptable ranges will be mentioned on the certificate. Okay, other workers or near the workers shall wear high efficient dust filter respiratory masks, which should be approved by NIOSH. Okay, abrasive blasting operators shall wear in air supplied hood type C is certified or NIOSH. Abrasive blasting breathing air equipment shall include a high efficient breathing air filter. Guys, sometimes I see they use this local air supply hood without CE certified, because sometimes this is cause cost. So contractor, they avoid to purchase this one. So you must ensure that that hood they are using should be certified by CE. Okay, you can see here other requirement. Abrasive blasting breathing air equipment shall include a high efficient breathing air filter and water tips. Okay, breathing air filter shall be periodically checked and replaced or recommended by the manufacturer. Okay, toxic gases also, carbon monoxide should be generated or should be entered in the air compressor hood. So there should be a indicator installation to avoid any inhalation of carbon monoxide to the operator. Okay, so carbon monoxide monitoring with the audible alarm shall be provided for the well lubricated breathing air compressor. Air compressor supplying breathing air shall be tested quarterly by independent, so the Aramco approved third-party testing facilities. Okay, fire and explosions, you can see this is the basic requirement. Okay, you can see electrical hazards and electrical bonding system that bond nozzle, hose, blasting equipment, blasting port. Okay, hearing loss, hearing protection is required. Lack of communications to the workers due to the sound. Incurrence of defective material or equipment. Ensure flexible hose with appropriate pressure rating capacity and clamps are properly connected. Okay, working in the adverse weather condition, welfare emergencies. Okay, this is the basic requirement which I have mentioned here. Guys, this JSA I have made it in the short. Okay, too big, too long JSA is mostly not considered good JSA. So JSA should be short, but ensure all the basic minimum requirements should be mentioned too also. Sometimes some people they make very short JSA, and many important things miss there. So you have to ensure that in the JSA it should not be too long, but it should be almost all the control measures should be covered. Okay, so you can see here in the minimum I mentioned here, you can avoid the JSA by checking, I mean that repeated word should be removed. Okay, so if you remove repeated word from the JSA, so that will not be too much long. So I have seen many JSA which is very long. So why it's become long? That there are several repeated words. So that should be eliminated. That should be removed. Okay. Okay. You can see here Aramco emergency numbers along with the contractor emergency number should be posted. 911 is for the Aramco. You can change it if you are in different project. You have to know the emergency number, and then you can enter your emergency number here. For in case of any emergency exists, if you are in the brownfield, then plant emergency should do the rescue, and ERT should be provided from them only. Then I have mentioned here spread of infectious disease pandemic. So if there is no such pandemic, you can remove it. Then closing activities, the basic requirement which I have mentioned here, you can write these things. Okay. I hope this is videos is okay. Thank you very much.